A vintage RAF bomber with a glorious past.
A great British success story. The Canberras were well ahead of the game.
Can a team dismantle this iconic jet aircraft?
It's horrendous. They're just not moving.
Without damaging its antique airframe.
I think the phrase is, Houston, we have a problem.
Just annoyed, really annoyed. That ain't happening. Plan F.
And haul it over 250 miles across Britain.
I mean, the motorway's turning into a river now. That's a bit scary.
One big bomber. One team with a mission to move it. Tons of trouble that will test the nerves of the people who dare to do monster moves. Nuki. Every summer, thousands of tourists descend on this seaside town to soak up the sun and surf. But this year, the beach is under invasion from a fleet of iconic aircraft.
Runway 23 clear to land after landing taxi via holding point Alpha 1.
Military planes from the 50s and 60s.
November 24136, Gloucester Tower, runway 23.
All heading to a new museum on the edge of town.
It is going to be very interesting for anyone who's remotely interested in aeroplanes to come and look at.
Aviation entrepreneur Mike Kollet is the owner of this extraordinary fleet that will form the exhibits at the Classic Air Force Museum.
I've always had a keen interest, and at 8 years old I could probably tell you every single aeroplane that was flying in the sky, just because I was so keen on aeroplanes.
Mike made his fortune founding several successful airlines, shuttling cargo and passengers across the world. He invested profits into buying and restoring the aircraft that left him awestruck as a young boy.
Any iconic aircraft types from the 50s, if they became available, then I would buy them. They're going to go to the scrap heap unless someone saves them. So that's why I've stepped in.
Mike hopes that the Classic Air Force Museum will preserve his beloved aircraft for generations to come.
I've set it up for the future. So I'm hoping that all these aircraft will continue to fly for another 50 years.
Welcome back.
Thanks a lot.
Museum Director Trevor Bailey will manage this ambitious venture.
This collection is probably the largest collection of British vintage military jets, certainly in Europe and probably in the world. We've got the DC-3s, we've got the Anson, we've got the Rapides, the twin-engine jet, the Hawker Harrier. So you can come along and touch this one and get a feel for it.
24 aircraft are already on display, but the centerpiece of this unique collection is missing. One of the world's last remaining Canberra bombers, stored 250 miles away in Coventry.
The critical piece, the missing piece, we need to have that aircraft here. It's a quintessential part of the British aviation development.
The Canberra was a long-range bomber, well ahead of its time. Its vast 19.5-meter wingspan allowed it to soar to over 21,000 meters. Its two powerful Rolls-Royce jet engines thrust it to speeds of more than 580 miles per hour. These unique design features created a bomber that could fly high and fast enough to drop over 3.5 tons of payload out of the gaze of enemy radar. The Canberra prototype first flew on Friday the 13th of May 1949. far from a bad omen, the flight heralded over half a century of exceptional service. The Canberra was one of the most versatile aircraft in any squadron. And in 1957, it smashed the world altitude record, taking pilots higher than they'd ever been before.
The Canberras were remarkable in that when they came out, they were far and away ahead of anything else that was being produced in the world.
Almost 1,000 Canberras were built, serving 17 air forces around the world. But aging engines and out-of-date avionics eventually consigned most of the bombers to history.
I mean, there aren't many Canberras flying in the world. There are probably, at this moment, I would say, 3.
Mike is determined to preserve the legacy of his Canberra, which served as an RAF training aircraft for more than half a century.
I don't regard that as a hobby, I just regard that almost as a duty.
There's just one problem with getting Mike's Canberra to the museum in Nuki. It's suffering from severe corrosion and so is not fit to fly. So he needs to call in a crew to truck the antique bomber more than 250 miles by road. Holiday motorway traffic and tight Cornish country roads will make this a tough trek.
I always feel there's every chance there's going to be some sort of accident on the road where the aircraft hits the side of a bridge. So it is a risk.
Aviation engineers Richard Parr and David Adamson will take on the task. They've prepared more than 40 aircraft for relocation over the past 7 years, but this could be their biggest test yet.
I always like a new challenge, and when I came down to view the aircraft in detail, I looked at it and thought, that is a big aeroplane.
It's an aeroplane. It's designed to fly. It isn't designed to be transported by road.
Dismantling this precious aircraft so it fits onto trucks will be the toughest part of the whole job. First task, remove its engines and wings.
It is a bit of a leap into the unknown. They're big, they're heavy, they're delicate. We're doing something that's not been done outside of the factory ever.
They must release the bolts that secure the engine to the wing.
Okay, done, yeah.
But they're stuck, jammed with years of grease and dirt.
We haven't got any movement at the back, so the thing's just not moving. It's not coming out of that back cradle at all. It's just catchy on here, Rich. Either that needs to come out or that needs to come off.
The solution?
Rich?
Yep.
Give the front a bit of a wiggle.
Okay, wiggling now.
That's good, that's nice, yeah. Okay.
Side to side, not
Yeah, that's fine, we're free at the back, that's fine, that's cool. A tiny little jiggle can make all the difference. Go up.
Go up.
Richard's jiggling does the trick.
Clear.
One engine down, one to go. In Coventry, aviation engineers David Adamson and Richard Parr
Go down a bit.
are taking the engines out of a vintage Canberra bomber ahead of its 250-mile road trip to Nuki.
Because it's military specification, everything is compact, everything is tight, everything is heavy, and that makes it, physical to work with.
It's always nice to get her out and get them down safely, so we look forward to getting the rest of her taken apart now.
With the jet's engines off, their next challenge is to remove the wings. But both of these 9.5-meter-long appendages contain the remnants of highly flammable aviation fuel. A hazard for the truckers when they get rolling. So the team must carefully drain the jet of every drop of fuel as they unscrew the access panel. And unbolt the wings from the fuselage to get the bomber ready for the road.
Now we're really getting at the nitty-gritty of the job.
We need to remove access panels, be access to all the nuts and the bolts and the cables and the hydraulics and the electrics.
The screws holding the panels in place are rusted,
Come back to that one.
but the plane can't go anywhere until David takes them out.
And we have 200-300 screws to take out. So yeah, it's going to be a job, unfortunately.
Some of them will be seized, some will be corroded, but they will be very, very, very stubborn.
It's spinning, but it's not coming out. So it feels like there's threads damaged inside. So we'll come back to that one as well. Success. One out.
Progress is slow, so David calls for backup. Engineer and aviation enthusiast Steve Edwards has been drafted in at the last minute to help disconnect the fuel pipes.
Certainly bigger than the FX kits I'm used to.
Right, let me show you how we're going to do it. So we've got a set of manuals. So this is effectively the Bible of how the plane works. If you don't mind, I'm going to throw you under the undercarriage. Look at disconnecting anything you can find. So we've got here, you've got your throttle linkages, you've got fuel pipes.
Okay,
there will be residue in there.
Steve squeezes into the belly of this beast to disconnect and drain the 25 meters of pipes.
Bugger. Oh my goodness. Oh, come on. 2 hours. One nut. 1 hour, 3 screws. What am I doing here? There we go. We could turn the aircraft upside down and make life a lot easier. This pipe here worries me most because it's feeding fuel from one of the upper tanks. We have to make sure we've got plenty of buckets on hand to take up any spillage.
Soon, the fuel starts flowing.
And yes, look, we have a few dribbles. Not much, but there is something.
Wait, stop.
I think we're going to have a flow.
And a dribble becomes a stream.
Dangerous, we're going to have fuel all over the floor.
A spark from Steve's hot work lights could blow the hangar sky high.
Might be doing
Right,
that
should we turn off these lights?
We've no idea. Yeah, you better do. We've no idea how much fuel's in here. Just when you thought it was all going smoothly.
Outside, a trickle has turned into a torrent.
And hopefully...
It's going everywhere here. Whoa. Right, which side's it coming? Whoa, a bit more.
Hang on, caught in the sensor. That's it.
You balance it on the top? No. What, Heath Robinson or what? I disconnected the fuel manifold and consequently it started leaking quite badly, as you can see. Goodness knows how many gallons in there. Could be 10, could be 20, could be 100. You just don't know.
Still dribbling. I think we'll just leave it and crack on and let it, as long as we make sure we're catching all the bits.
The hangar is flooded with petrol.
It's surprising how much was in it.
But with the bomber drained, David can resume battle with the screws.
So just the 400 screws to go. Bring it on.
it's horrendous. They're just not moving. The bad news is that we have to get this strip off along here, and there's 200, 250 screws on each side. So there's somewhere between 400 and 500 screws, and we've got 5 out.
Time for more drastic measures. Drill them out.
It is a last resort. We are effectively breaking the screws by drilling them out, but it's a necessary evil, otherwise you just never get them off. Our first access panel. That is good. It's surprising how little actually holds the wings on. Like I say, including the engines, the wings probably weigh somewhere in the region of 4.5 tons each, and yet they're held on with 8 bolts, so it's a little bit scary.
As the access panels pull free, a special visitor who knows a thing or two about these aircraft drops by.
Oh wow, I've not seen one look as spacious as this before, with all the seats out. Yeah.
Retired RAF officer David Piper clocked up almost 3,000 hours at the controls of a Canberra.
Through my Air Force career, I've never lost the excitement of getting in a Canberra and flying it. You've got a big beast under your control, a lot of power, big aeroplane. It flies just beautifully. It's smooth, it's quiet, it's forgiving. To get in a Canberra and fly it is truly a wonderful experience.
Piper flew the Canberra throughout Europe, the Middle East and Afghanistan.
It's an aeroplane that should definitely be preserved. It's up there with the best.
Very nice. And at last, got all the flipping screws out.
With the wing panels off, David can finally begin to take the rest of this beast apart.
So this is actually going to be the first part of the plane, physical, that we're actually going to get off. This is a really big step.
The tail fin is first to go.
This is the very last bolt holding the tail section on. And that's it, the last bolt. So now we'll see if we can get it moved.
A trusty forklift should do the trick.
I'll try reversing a bit and see what happens.
Okay, that's good.
I'm just going to make some horrible noises, but...
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. That was actually excellent.
Never in doubt, mate. Never in doubt.
She's now down. She's softly on those tyres on the pallets, so she's ready to be loaded onto the wagon. So yeah, I'm pleased with that.
Well, I've done it in an afternoon.
Now the hard part.
Next big challenge now is to get the wings off. We've got to get them off. You know, she can't go nowhere with the wings on.
To remove the bomber's fragile wings, the boys must extract 8 heavy bolts fixing them to the fuselage. Then they can load each wing onto its own truck. But sit them upright on the trailer and they will soon be clipped. So the team must custom build special transport cradles, slotting each wing carefully into place. To make sure that they travel to Nuki at just the right angle.
If we cannot get the angle right, we will not get the height right, and we won't be able to secure the wing safely for the journey.
The cradles are being built from reinforced steel north of the city.
We cannot afford to damage the wings, so it is essential the cradles do the correct job.
Precision is paramount.
I mean, I'm confident. I mean, the design is a good one, but you never know until you try it.
With the cradles taking shape, Richard and David attack the huge metal bolts pinning the wings to the fuselage.
There's no way that the wings can be removed and the aircraft transported in the proper way without the wing bolts being removed. So this is a huge step, massive.
Using a custom-made extraction tool,
It is tight, but it's moving, so that moving is good. Not moving isn't so good.
and a little gentle persuasion,
Come on, Dave, give it some belly!
the bolts start flying.
Yeah, she's out. Woohoo! Nicely. It's out.
There we go. There we go.
Hey!
A bolt. 3 down, 1 to go.
But just as they pick up the pace, they hit a glitch. Their tool cracks in two, along with David's lip.
Johnson first aid, you're right.
Oh, no, I'm not worried about that. Oh, yeah, no, I'm just worried about this.
New tool. The same result.
Bugger, 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 bugger. That bolt is very stuck. I think the phrase is, Houston, we have a problem. Does it look like it moved at all? No. Wrong answer. Ready? Oh, dear me. I'm losing the will now. I'm really losing the will. Not a great day. Wings still on. Broken some tools. So yeah, bit of a shocker. Never mind. Cry now.
But there is some good news for the boys.
Ah, loving your work.
The wing cradles are finished.
Looks good. Looks like it'll work. I won't find out till I put the wing on it though.
Yeah. We get these wing bolts out, then we can give it a try.
To release the remaining 5, they're changing tack.
We're actually going to put the bolts we've taken out back in.
Putting the bolts back in will spread the weight of the wing more evenly, making the stubborn bolts easier to slide out.
So by getting the bolts out, clean, lubricated, put back in, come the day when the crane does arrive, the bolts will come out hopefully much, much easier.
David might just be onto something.
Come on, Dave, go for glory. Any minute now.
Battle of the bolts is over.
Hey!
The move is back on track.
It's been a long, hard slog, really brutal at times. But the nice thing is that the hard, frustrating work's done.
"13 weeks after the project began, Richard can finally call in a crane to help load the wings onto the trucks so they can hit the tarmac tomorrow.
I'm excited, I'm keyed up. I'm really excited that we're on the day and we're just going to go and do it.
Crane supervisor Simon Berry needs a delicate touch, but he's not got a lot to go on.
Newer stuff would all be marked up and it had drawings and everything all left over from it. This, we're working everything's off of old drawings and old bits of paper that was around from back when men were men and nobody needed to look at the instructions.
They wrap nylon straps around the wings to take the strain.
Well, we're going to pop the bottom bolts out now then.
And cross their fingers that David's grease job is enough to release the obstinate bolts.
It's coming now. Ready? That's it. Bit more. Okay, let's get the hell out of Dodge.
Bolts away.
Any minute now, it's just gonna come off the fuselage. I won't put my fingers in there, that'd be silly. Just give it a jiggle, Simon.
Chief Jiggler.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's much better. That's moving, that is. That is definitely moving.
Don't know how much more we've got to go. Just, if it does move, just watch it doesn't knock you off the ladder.
Wing number 1 finally lifts off.
That's why you didn't want to be underneath it. That's a good job.
In Coventry, Richard Parr's team is midway through dismantling the 60-year-old RAF Canra Bomber for its journey to Nuki's Aircraft Museum.
It does look bloody big, doesn't it?
The trucking crew from Leicester Heavy Haulage is anxious to load up and get rolling tomorrow.
It'll reach its final destination on Tuesday, I believe. Getting paid to be on a jolly down in Nuki. Really edit that piece out, seriously.
With the support cradles strapped to the trucks,
the frame itself, I've no doubt, should hold. Should. He uses the word should and says there's no doubt.
they begin the delicate task of loading the first 9.5-meter wing.
We're just finishing reslinging the port wing such that we can then tip it through 40 or 50 degrees onto the wing transportation jig on the back of the wagon.
Craning the wing onto its supports won't be easy inside. The hangar roof is low. A dent could wreck the Canberra's chances of ever flying again.
So this is kind of really important now because we want to make sure this leading edge doesn't get crushed.
It's a precarious situation.
Got a lot of weight on this corner here. We've got a lot of weight on there.
You don't want to put that amount of extra pressure on it. So I want it on the deck as soon as possible.
Suddenly,
Hang on, whoa.
the edge of the wing smashes into the bed of the trailer.
It came down on one corner.
It'll be a replacement part, I think. Replacement skin. Just annoyed, really, really annoyed.
They try again.
How are we looking there? Well, that's it.
Touchdown.
The good thing is we've done one now, so we'll be quicker doing the second one.
While Richard turns his attentions to wing number 2, in Nuki, the team from the classic Air Force Museum, anxiously waiting for the Canberra's delivery, take to the skies above Cornwall for an air show.
It's important to highlight to the public what Classic Air Force is all about. We're here to preserve post-war British aircraft, and today's a good day to be able to showcase that. We've been displaying our Avro Anson. Both Meteors, the Meteor T7 and the NF11. We've also been doing pleasure flights in the De Havilland Dragon Rapide.
Very good flight. Highlight of the day. Turquoise seas, yellow sands, blue sky. What more could you want for a job?
Back in Coventry, the boys are making progress.
Okay. Lovely job. Excellent.
The second wing is off.
Yeah, hang on, whoa.
And despite a few bumps and bruises,
That's goose that. That's snack of that.
it's soon on the trailer and ready to go.
We're all in now. It's all strapped down and ready to roll.
One piece left to load, the biggest. The 20-meter-long fuselage. No bolts or screws, but loading this beast with just one crane could be tricky.
These are designed to take the weight of the aircraft, so they should be able to take the weight of the just the fuselage by itself.
It'll literally be like a seesaw, and you just got to hang on to one end to make sure it doesn't move too much.
The fuselage is dangerously unbalanced.
Stop there a minute, stop there, stop.
We just know that all the weight's at the front of the plane now. We haven't got the tail fin on the end of it, so we've got to compensate for it.
They hook a 100-kilogram trestle to the undercarriage for ballast.
Come on, nose, bloody hell.
Another nosedive.
Yeah, that ain't happening. Plan F.
Things soon turn from bad to worse.
Oh, bloody great. I need another bucket. Bloody hell, that's a lot of fuel. Someone, I need another bucket. There's some buckets down the far end of the hangar, please. Now, this was supposed to be the easy bit. This is supposed to be the easy lift.
Richard is clean out of ideas.
My new plan is a new job working as a floor cleaner in a large airport terminal.
Last resort, strap the only gun left in their arsenal around the fuselage to level it out.
We're going to use the forklift with a lifting strop round to the top. That's the Grand Master plan now.
Yes! It's off the ground now. That's looking better. That's looking much better. And that's the highest that nose has been since I landed in 2005.
After a full day of hard graft, the Canberra is finally ready to roll.
That's it, yeah. Home, sleep, bed.
I never want to see another plane again.
9 a.m. move day.
Morning, guys. We're going to have a long day today.
The truckers have a 262-mile drive ahead of them. They need to deliver the convoy to Nuki by 9 a.m. tomorrow.
A long journey, a slow journey. I don't think we're going any faster than about 40 miles an hour.
First leg, the 240-mile stretch south to Bodmin. Time is tight. They need to get there before nightfall.
We've got to have like 9 hours off legally before we can start moving again the next day. So it's quite critical that we get there for 8 o'clock.
Today's forecast for bad weather could make this 8 p.m. deadline tonight tough to hit. Gusts could catch the Canberra's wings and cause an unwanted takeoff. While heavy rain will turn the motorway into a swimming pool, which could ground this bomber for good.
Strong winds. We don't get any strong winds.
The forecast calls for extra belts and braces.
Got to make sure it's totally secure. You wouldn't want that coming off.
10:30 a.m.
Well, time to hit the road.
Are ready then, lads?
Less than 10 hours to get to Bodmin. It's not the easiest of starts for the convoy.
Bit of a village throw down here. There's plenty of risks. I mean, you've got pedestrians, cars, lamp out, street furniture, everything.
I'll give you a shout, lads, when it's at bottom and it's clear at Island.
Their route takes them through the village of Baggington. Escort driver Bungle's got his work cut out, guiding the convoy around this hard right turn.
I believe the next obstacle is the mini roundabout.
He has to block all 4 roads leading to this junction so the bomber can pass.
Oh, I'll put the van here, and I'm now just going to run back up and stop from other directions. That's the best thing about the job, running. It's quite a tiring job, that's when I wish I'd go to the gym more, but on a day like this as well, where it's warm, it's always a killer. Just an abnormal load coming down.
One by one, the trucks take on the turn.
Look, just 1 minute.
They're all right on that back end, Bob?
Right, just rubbing this turn.
We've got the rear steer on the longest one.
Just taking the fuselage through the most difficult part.
Okay, you're out.
A good challenge. Always makes a day better.
(11:30 a.m.) They make an emergency stop.
So what do you want us to do? Pull up here where it's up? We reckon there's a piece of rubber fell out of the tailpiece of the plane.
One of the wedges holding the fuselage's rudder in place has fallen off.
It might damage the
actual running...
the rudder with it going from side to side.
Their quick fix, a bungee cord. But it's a delay they can do without.
Silly little things like this when you have to wait, it takes the time.
4 hours from here to Taunton Dean,
Yeah.
say an hour break, and another 4 hours from there to Bodmin.
Their deadline is slipping out of reach.
You're looking 8 o'clock, isn't it? 8, 9 o'clock.
"11:50 a.m. They get rolling again, picking up the pace on the motorway.
That's it, cruise control on now.
What was that you was just doing then, Mal?
I got busted.
Flying through the holiday traffic is far from a breeze.
Look who it's idiot here. Off.
This convoy is so wide it needs 2 lanes to itself.
We're going to annoy a lot of people. All we want to do is get by at any cost.
There's a lot of them try and cut in before they should do. You don't really know how the load is going to, react with the braking. If this gets damaged, it's never going to fly properly again.
We're only doing a job like everyone else, and our job's just sort of causing chaos.
With the Canberra en route, in Nuki the team is getting ready for the arrival of their star exhibit.
Right, give it a good turn, Ollie, so we're not near that one. Taking it backwards, then, if you want.
We've been moving the aircraft around. We're primarily trying to make some space for the Canberra. So the more space we can create, the better today.
They need as much room as possible outside the hangar, where they will unload the bomber.
It's tricky moving everything around into the right places, but it's an art that we've mastered. The Canberra is now on the move. It will be good news for everybody when it arrives.
On the road, the weather's on the turn.
This wind's picking up a bit, eh?
With a 5-metre high wing acting as a sail, a strong crosswind is the last thing Neil needs.
When it catches it, you can actually feel it trying to pull it across. You're like 2 hands on the steering wheel. I reckon we're going to have a downpour, really bad one. Here comes an heavy downpour then, lads.
Yeah, as you can see now, it's pretty bad rain, and I can't really see a lot out of the wind, is it? It's pretty bad, this rain is.
This rain's getting worse. And then the motorway's turning into a river now. Look. It gets a bit scary. Like one sharp stab on the brakes, you could lose the trailer.
The heavy rain forces the convoy to a crawl, so they might not make it to Bodmin tonight. On the road to Nuki, trucker Neil Wright is leading a convoy carrying the 1954 Canberra Bomber. The crew is pulling out of the rainstorm, but a new delay, traffic, could still stall their arrival.
I'm guessing Devon and Cornwall, it's holiday period, so you do spot a fair old few heading down this way. Help, Neil, just to let you know, there's a bit of a tailback behind us now.
So what do you want me to do about it?
They have no choice but to pull off the road to let the snarl up pass.
Well, that's it now till after rush hour. Just go out and check all the straps. Traffic's horrendous here. If you pull out in that line, it'll cause even more chaos.
Every second that ticks by puts tomorrow morning's delivery deadline in more doubt.
Just means it's another long day.
It takes an hour for the traffic to clear. It's down to Bungle to lead them back out onto the road.
Tell us when you're ready to start rolling.
Well, it'd help if you pulled out in a lane.
I'm into lane 1. I'll tell you when I'm into lane 2. After that Fiat, I'm into lane 2.
What is Bungle doing?
That's Bungle for you.
They finally pick up speed.
This is what you call British summertime.
9 p.m. After more than 10 hours on the road, the truckers finally reached their overnight lay-by in Bodmin.
That's it then for tonight. Another fine day.
– 6 a.m. After the mandatory 9 hours rest, they're ready for the final push to Nuki.
Just going to put the address into your sat-nav so I don't get lost. It's always nice to have a rough idea where you're going. Putting Coventry's postcode in. RAF.
They've got just 1 hour to thread through 15 miles of narrow Cornish roads.
You want to get Bungle down here as well, because it's running down into single lane here.
The nearer they get to Nuki, the narrower the roads become.
This is where the fun's going to start.
We've got a bus coming towards us.
It's coming down now, so watch out, Neil.
I mean, you run the risk of like some truck coming past and just taking the tip of the wing off there on the overhanger.
Overgrown hedges and trees make the bomber's final approach extra precarious.
Overhanging trees can actually rip the wing open. You lads all right, so you want to slow down a bit? We're actually at the site.
They make it to their gate bang on schedule.
Classic Air Force. That's it.
It's a welcome sight for Richard.
It's looking really good. Yeah, looks like it's had a good journey down. There's the main fuselage.
It's a sound job. Everyone's happy.
It's good to see. Very good to see. Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
The Canberra finally touches back down onto terra firma. It's the end of a testing few months for Richard, and Nuki's show-stopping RAF bomber will soon be ready for display.
I am proud because it was certainly the #1 aircraft that we've done. Of all the aircraft that are iconic, and that word is massively overused, the Canberra is one of them.
It's one thing to arrive by air, but have an aircraft of this size and importance arrive by road and then to be reassembled out here on the tarmac is in itself a story.
Over the next few years, the team will restore the Canberra's every last screw and bolt, giving the aircraft a complete makeover. They will reassemble its tail, repair its wings, and refurbish its jet engines. So that this magnificent bomber might one day join the rest of Mike's fleet in the skies over Cornwall.